Lovely cup of tea. Cheers. Hello and welcome. My name's Marie and this is my yarn journey. I hope you are well and that you're having some lovely crafting time while watching. No knitwear today. All my knitwear, summery light garments, all need a good refresh because they've been worn loads over the last few weeks. So that is going to be one of my tasks this weekend, to get them all, give them a soak and depill and anything that they need so that they're nice and back in. Hopefully, because the weather has been terrible this week, hence why my hair looks in this absolute state, because we're going on our morning walks. As I've told you, I'm getting my steps up, which is great, but I am getting rained on. I have got a rain jacket, but sometimes we set off and it's like a light drizzle, you know, all that sort of thing. So, and the humidity with my hair just makes it go into a total frizz. So yeah, it is what it is. If you want to get in touch with me, you can connect with me on Instagram. It's Maries_yarn_journey. I've also got, you can email me, that's mariesyarnjourney@outlook.com. If you want to support the channel, I have got a wish list and on Lavallee, and also you can buy me a coffee on Ko-fi. Anything else I want to say? As always, if you've got any questions, any input or anything like that, please do leave a comment, because your helpful suggestions really do help me in my knitting. And I've got a few things that I want to talk about today, which I've been discussing for the last few weeks, so there'll be nothing new there, but still in a quandary about something. But today we do have 2 finished objects, which is fantastic. And yeah, just get a swig of my brew. Yeah, like I was saying, the weather's been pretty abysmal. So I've heard, and I've not double checked, and I will have a look at the forecast after, that at the weekend it's supposed to be a bit nicer. So if I can get my tops soaked and out in the sunshine, because it's just, they dry so much quicker if you get them out in the sun. Yeah, so if I can get them out in the garden and get them drying in the sun, it'll be a lot quicker process for me to do that. And if there is any noise or interruptions, I do apologise. It was the best time for me to film and get it up and all ready for you. And my partner is getting ready for a big fishing trip, so there will be some background noise, unfortunately. And I think I'm getting a delivery, which always seems to happen when I sit down to record, doesn't it? Hopefully that's not for me. Right, so first finished object, and I'm sure you'll know what this is, and I'm just going to stand up out of shot and just put this on to show you. Now, without the buttons on, it's very hard to show you the fit of this cardigan, and I'll probably have to do some B-roll. As I say, it has been blocked, but it's still a bit prickly on the arms. I'm not sure if the arms are too long. I haven't tried wearing it, and like I say, without the buttons, because it, sorry if this affects the microphone sound, it will be buttoned across there. I can see this turning into a very, very cozy garment for, you know, the end of autumn or winter. I'll stand up here so you can kind of see the length on me. And I think for a cardigan, overall, I am very, very pleased with how this has turned out. It's quite a neutral colour, so it's going to go with a lot of things. This is a Midland cardigan by Laura Penrose. Really enjoyed the knitting process. Although there was points where I fell out of love with this project, which is why it's taken me so long. Using the frogged yarn and it just not looking as neat as my knitting normally does really kind of put me off. But what I would say is that this double knit button band has really finished it off absolutely lovely. And yeah, I just need to get some buttons now. I'm sure it's something that could be worn without buttons, but I think with buttons it will just look a little bit better. I've not tried it on with anything yet to see what I'm going to wear it with, but yeah, so I'd highly recommend the pattern. I found it quite easy to follow. It's very in-depth pattern, very long, but I think Laura's done that on purpose because it is an unusual construction that a lot of people may not have done before. So she was preempting questions, that sort of thing. So yeah, I've not had a look yet on it's Tom Dyson is the guy who made the wooden buttons that had a stall at East Anglia, and that's going to be my first port of call. Other than that, on I can't remember, she's an Irish podcaster. She actually bought some glass buttons, which seemed like quite a nice option, because a clear glass button would probably go nice on this. But yeah, like I say, I've not made any decisions at all. When it has grown, if you look, I don't know if you remember from last week, but it's grown quite significantly. What I would also say is that the ribbing has stretched out a bit, which is nice because it was a little bit snug before. It's probably perfect now. When I do go to put this on, as I'm putting it on, the weird thing is I'll be like, oh my god, this is way too big. But then once I've actually got it on, and I think, like I say, once I've got the buttons up, bearing in mind that I'll probably have something on underneath this, I do think it is going to be the perfect size. With it being a cardigan, it's got to go over other garments. Yeah, so I'd highly recommend this pattern. I'd certainly highly recommend doing a double knit button band. Oh, what I did want to mention is that on one side, my pickup looks really neat. I don't know if this is just garter stitch. On the other side, it looks a bit ropey, and I'm not really sure why. I obviously picked up at the wrong point, but I'm going to show you here, and I don't know whether it's my increases or decreases, whichever ones I was doing on this side, but can you see next to the button band? Do it that way. Just a section across here, it looks a bit ropey, and there's one there that looks like quite a significant gap. So that might be something. I've got plenty of yarn left because I've obviously got the lace weight that I had to hold with this when I was making the salty days. So I have got extra yarn if I want it, but overall pretty successful project, and I'm really pleased that it's now off the needles and done. And I've got a second object off the needles. So my everyday attitude, I'm feeling this yarn after feeling that. Oh, this was like, oh, glorious. So I'll turn it the right way out because I've turned it inside out because I've not sewn my, it's off the needles, but I've not sewn my ends in. Now, I did try this on, was it yesterday or the day before? I've not gotten around to blocking it because, like I've said, the weather is not very good and it's been raining quite a bit, and I'd like to be able to put it out in the sunshine if possible because this will dry very quickly. Now, you may be able to see the problem with this garment. I'm really pleased actually with how this bottom, this is the Everyday Attitude by Susanne Sommer, and it has a folded hem at the bottom, which you won't have seen last week. Now, if you remember, I was playing a massive game of yarn chicken, and very frustratingly, after I'd finished this and bound off, and I looked in my blanket basket, I had a small little nugget of the blue, which may have meant I could have done 2 extra rows, but hey ho. Or even 4, to be fair, and that would have made it just the perfect length. Now, this, if you can see, is very cropped, I've tried it on. I tried it on with these pants and it's sort of hitting just about here, I'd say at the minute, just skimming the band on these trousers. Now, I'm hoping, because this grew significantly and I wasn't expecting it to, because it's frogged yarn that I've knitted again. And I'm hoping now, I know when I've knit with superwash yarn before and I've knit summer tops, they have usually grown quite a bit, but I got the maximum I could out of this. Now, I wanted originally to do my pearl bump in the, which you can see here, I've ended up doing in my contrast yarn. And I wanted to do that in the blue to make it look a lovely, crisp, neat finish at the bottom. But unfortunately, I ran out of yarn, and I'm going to see if I can show you the tail on here. Yeah. This is all I had left. Obviously, some's tucked in the button band. Now, I made one, so I'd calculated it and I kept calculating. I calculated the amount for a row. It ended up being 0.66 grams. I think it was, or something like that, and 0.61 maybe per the 2 rounds of garter. I can't remember actually now. Anyways, I did all the calculations at the time and I calculated how much I would need to knit the rows on this button band to leave myself enough to do that folded hem, because I do think the folded hem, along with the lovely slip stitch edging and then these rolled edges, do make it a lovely finish. Makes just adds a bit of polish to the top. I am still concerned about the length, to be fair. Now, bear in mind that I've used a sock yarn in this project, and the original is knit in a linen yarn, but the yardages are, or the meterage that is suggested, is totally different. And I think the contrast colour, I'm sure it was, so as I was saying before I was interrupted, yeah, the pearl bump I wanted to do in the main colour, which was the blue, because I thought that would look best, but I ran out of yarn. Got to the end of my row, I had a very small tail, as you can I've shown you, and I thought, well, I'm just going to have to do it in the contrast, because I don't want it to be shorter than what it is. I want to get as much as I can, and I have plenty of the contrast left. I knew I was going to do the contrast colour on the other side of the folded hem. What I did also do, I did make a little modification. I have actually, if you can see that, I've actually knitted down rather than sewing my folded hem. I just find that much easier, so I did that while I was at the point I was binding off. And I've tried it on, it fits me fine, like I say, but the neckline isn't as open as I would like, or as open as the excuse me, as the picture. Also, I did make a tiny mistake when I was picking up for the neckline. You're supposed to pick up at the back like you do with most necklines, so that the join is at the back. And I realised once I'd done it and finished that I'd picked, because I don't know why, but obviously the way my knitting was laying, I had picked it up at an edge, which was the front. So I'm hoping that I can sew my end down, just make that look okay anyway. So I will show you this again probably. I might wear it for the podcast next week, and then you can see what it's like after blocking. I just hope it grows. The width is fine. I just hope it grows in length a bit for me. If it does that, it will end up perfect. And I'm hoping, because, you know, 9 times out of 10 blocking does do its magic, doesn't it? Whether it is going to be enough on that garment, I don't know. Otherwise, my other option is I have got maybe a couple of skirts it might go with, or I have got a dress, a maxi dress, which is a straight down dress, but the bit that cinches in at the waist is quite high. So I think this top might go over that really well. We'll see. I'll have to try it once it's been blocked. Just get another bit of my brew. So yeah, they're the 2 projects that are now finished, blocked and everything. And I've just got 1 new cast on, which I've been working on. I've only cast it on in the last few days, but I'm definitely excited to show you. So let me reach over. I've popped it into this bag as it's one of my favourites, which is Tea Cake and Makes. And I am using my Rome yarn, as I call it, which is this Katia Linen Natural Select, which is 47% linen and 53% cotton. Quite a splitty yarn when you're knitting with it. And I am doing the Ostara vest. Very hard to show now. You might be able to see straight away when I'm showing you this. For some reason, the way that this edge is created, oh my days, it's throwing it down out there. The way this cast on edge is created, it's very stiff. So, and the rest of it has given. So I'm hoping that that will not be an issue. I know sometimes cotton can stretch out quite a bit, so maybe it'll counteract that over time, but let's just hope it doesn't mean that this doesn't fit me. I've checked my gauge. I am on gauge. I have gone up in needle size from what the pattern recommends. So, I can't remember what the needle size in the pattern was. I just need to check that. 1 minute. It's a broken rib that you're knitting. Oh, it's a broken rib that you're knitting in this. That's the wrong side. Here's the right side, which I really liked because it's just enough to make it textured. The stitch count is 22 stitches for the gauge, and I am meeting it. Now it does look a little, I'm hoping it won't be see-through, but it's looking a little bit loose on there. But just let me check what the needle size is in this, because I think I've gone up 0.5, but now this is me all over, isn't it? Let me check these. 0.75. So for some reason, and it's worked out to my favour, I don't know what's happened here, but the pattern calls for 4mm and 3.5mm. Now, when you come to the cast on thing, and I don't know if this is the way I'm reading the pattern or what. This is a pattern by Tanis Fibre Arts, and it's a designer that I really love. The Rocket Tee turned out perfect, and I'll wear that all the time. But I don't know if I've missed something in the pattern, but normally you'll be given 2 needle sizes, and you'll be told in the pattern where you're to use the smaller needles, which is generally the finishings, and where you're supposed to use you know, the other needle size, the larger one, which is normally in the body of the garment. but in this one it doesn't seem to say. Now, I have actually cast this on with a 3.75. I intended to do a 4, but it appears that the happy accident is that I'm on gauge, and I'm on a 3.75 millimeter. Now, maybe the way this edge is, with it being very, very tight, I should have cast this on with a larger needle size, but it doesn't actually say in the pattern if that's what you're supposed to do. So, and there is some ribbing on the bottom of the body, so I wasn't sure if it meant that the small needle size was just going to be used for the ribbing. Anyway, I'm on a 3.75 millimeter and I am meeting gauge with this yarn, so that's pretty good. We shall have to see how it goes. I'm not adverse to ripping this out and doing it again if it's not right. I want to make sure it's right. The other thing that I'm thinking is, and I don't know if I mentioned this last week when I was talking about this pattern, it has a ribbing at the bottom and it looks like a 1x1 ribbing. I don't know whether I should replace that with an I-cord. Anyway, I'm thoroughly enjoying knitting on this. Broken rib is relatively easy to knit, and you're doing your edging as you work, which is really nice. And yeah, it's just been a pleasure. And obviously using the yarn that's been in stash since Rome last year, it's nice to get that knit up into a garment. See, the rest, if I can show you, the actual top has a lot of stretch in it. I'm hoping it's not going to be see-through, but it's just literally that top edge which doesn't have any stretch, but it might be that it just holds it in shape, because I know cotton can stretch out quite easily. But yeah, I'm just knitting flat at the moment. It's been pretty easy to follow so far. Did have to do a crochet chain to cast on, but that's not difficult. And that's been the main thing I've worked on. I think when did I cast that on? Might have been Wednesday, I think I cast that on. Okay, and the last thing that I wanted to talk to you about is the willow top by Lily Kate France. Now, I had showed you a yarn last week, and it is still, I think, the front runner, but I wanted to get your input. So I knew that I had some summer yarns that I bought relatively early on in my knitting journey when I was just getting back into it, and I got a class on Domestika, if you've heard of that. It's a bit like Skillshare, but it's a Spanish version, and I'd bought this yarn to make a vest. Now this is obviously not going to be suitable for that top now I'm looking at it. I'd just, like I said, I'd just been in my cupboard and gone right to the back to the yarns that aren't on my, because a couple of these summer yarns are not on my spreadsheet that I've made with all my yarns on. So I knew there was a couple in there that might be potentials for the willow top. This is 100% cotton. It's Drops Paris. Does it say the colour on here? It's like a dusky pink colour. This is, I'm presuming this is Aran weight or something heavier. It's 75 metres. Oh no, I should have checked before I started recording, but I didn't, because I can't remember what weight this yarn is, because it looks quite thick to me. But it will be 150 metres in 100 grams. which, yeah, makes it Aran, doesn't it? Or something along those lines. I don't work with a lot of thicker yarns than DK, so I'm not... I'm not as well... what is the word for that? Anyway, you get what I'm trying to say. Words aren't coming to me right now, but it's... I've not used that yarn as much, so I don't know as easily what the meterage is and what that weight it tallies to. Fingering and DK I am used to using, so I recognise roughly what those meterage amounts would be. Now this one is, I think this is supposed to be a fingering weight. It's dropped saffron or saffran, which is 100% cotton. Although this is 160, I might just check this actually. I've literally just gone in the cupboard now and got these out, which is why I'm not sure, but I do want to just double check this one because I thought that that was a fingering weight. But I'm going to have a look on Wool Warehouse just to confirm. It might be that neither of these are going to be suitable for that top. So if you remember, last week I had pulled out that wool cashmere blend, which was in that beautiful purple colour. I had 3 skeins of that, meaning that holding it double, because it is a fingering weight, I would be playing heavy yarn chicken for that project. Because the willow top is a DK top. Yeah, I thought it was. It does say that it is a it says it's a fingering weight, but there's only 160 meters in this 50-gram ball, which is bizarre. Anyone used this before? Because that would lean more to being like a heavy fingering, or is that sport? I don't know. Anyways, even their site does say that it is a fingering weight. But of this, I have got, I think I have 6 balls of this. So I'm just going to calculate. So if I have 6 balls, which is what I think I have, unless I have 5. Yeah, so there's no way I could use this for the willow top, but what I could definitely use it for, if I held it double, I could use it for another Ostara vest if I like that. And then they also pulled out, this is 100% soft cotton from Woolly Knit, and this is 400-gram cone. So that is, rather than the 3 skeins that I had for the Ula and Leah yarn, which would mean I'm playing quite a bit of yarn chicken, because it's 400 meters. So I've got 1,200 meters of that yarn, but then I'm going to be doubling it because it's a fingering weight. So I'm left with 600, and I think it's something around 680 that I need for this top for my size. With this one, obviously, I have got 4 skeins on this cone, and that gives me plenty with no yarn chicken. So yeah, what do we think? I prefer the colour of the purple yarn. Has Lily Kate been generous? And in that case, the 600 would be plenty. which fibre content do you think is going to be better? Obviously this lends itself to summer better, and it is really, really soft. I can imagine this will be beautiful, and I actually feel that it will be quite cool against my skin. So yeah, that's my thoughts with the Willow Top by Lily Kate France. And yeah, oh, I was going to show you these as well. So when I was rooting around in the back of my cupboard, I did also pull out. Now I think that the, now what is it called? So it's a Rebecca Clow pattern that I'm thinking of doing. And I think I've shown you the picture before. And it's the vest that she did. And it's the one that's the, is it the tank version where it's got the ribbed edgings? I saw a version of it done where they'd done a cream base, like this sort of colour. And they had done about 6 to 8 minis, I think they'd used, and done a very thin stripe and then a thicker stripe of the cream, and it just looked really fun and really effective. And I thought, do you know what, I think I'll give that a try. I've got plenty of minis in stash. I'm sure I'll be able to find some that I can use for it. And I wanted, before I bought anything to do it with, which I thought I might use drop spell if I don't have anything that's suitable, I would look what I've got here. Now it looks to me that I've got 2 full skeins there and half, maybe 3/4 of another skein of the Fibre Clow, is that Blanca? It's Luma and the colour is Blanca. Now this is 50% wool, 25% cotton, 15% linen and 10% silk. It's a pretty soft yarn, and it has got the plant fibres in there to make it suitable for summer. It's a good mixture there. And this is a DK weight. Now in 50 grams is 125 meters. So I've not looked at that pattern yet to see how much I would need, but obviously I'd have to see overall what I need, and then maybe 75-25 ratio for the cream to the minis. So it will be a bit of guesswork with that. But I think it is a DK weight pattern. Now I have also got, which is another option, and I think that pattern comes in both a DK and a fingering weight, so I could actually opt to do it in a fingering weight, and then I could potentially use this, which is Sanders Garn tin line, or tin line, or thin line, or whatever you want to call it. And I've got 3 skeins of this. Now I'm sure with this I would have plenty. Does it say on here the meterage? Must say it somewhere, surely. Oh yeah, 50 grams is 220 meters. So that's a very light fingering yarn. So if I can find the picture, I'll put a picture up on the screen of the version of the top that I'm looking to do, and you can let me know which of these that you think would be the best to use in that. I suppose if I do the fingering one, it's probably more likely that I'm going to have plenty of yarn in this one, whereas it might be touch and go with the... But I suppose it would be quite nice to use that Luma, because it will be me then using up some of my leftovers from my porcelain sweater in another garment, which would be quite nice. But yeah, let me know which one you think is going to be best. I suppose most of my minis are also going to be fingering weight, 20 gram minis, most of them, I would say. So I'll have to see as well what I've got available there, because that might sway me and how many stripes I'll need to do. Like I say, if I can find the picture, I'll pop it up on the side here for you so that you can have a look. And that's everything that I wanted to update you with today. Hope you have a wonderful weekend, whatever you're doing. Let me know what you're knitting on, put a comment down, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.